Hi, welcome to myprojectwizard.com. The requested title is Key-Aggregate System for Scalable Data Sharing in Cloud Storage. So, one abstract. Data sharing is an important functionality in cloud storage. In this article, we show how to securely, efficiently, and flexibly share data with others in cloud storage. We describe new public key crypto systems which produce constant size ciphertext such that efficient delegation of decryption rights for any set of ciphertexts are possible. The novelty is that one can aggregate any set of secret keys and can make them as compact as a single key, but encompassing the power of all the keys being aggregated. In other words, the secret key holder can release constant size aggregate key for flexible choices of ciphertext set in cloud storage, but the other encrypted files outside the set remain confidential. This compact aggregate key can be conveniently sent to others or to be stored in a smart card with very limited secure storage. We provide formal security analysis of our schemes in the standard model. We also describe other application of our schemes. In particular, our schemes give the first public key patient controlled encryption for flexible hierarchy, which was said to be known. Next, flow of the project. In this project, we have three repositories, that is data owner, a cloud server, and receiver. Data owner will create the cipher index based on the file. First, data owner will load the file and get the file attributes. Based on the file attributes, data owner will get the index and will generate the key, this aggregate key. And aggregate key will be generated based on cipher index and key tag. And public key and data owner will generate the master key and public key for encryption decryption process. And encrypted message will be based on aggregate key. Encrypted message will transfer to the cloud server, and cloud server will receive the encrypted data and transfer to a receiver. And receiver will get the encrypted message from the server, and receiver will get the aggregate key from the data owner. And finally, receiver will decrypt the ciphertext based on aggregate key. Next, execution of project. Let's start execution. This is the data owner panel. Data owner should log in by providing username and password. Data owner is new user, and how to create the repository for data owner. Get in IP address of the system and username, password. We submit to register. The username and password is already registered. It will show message boxes already exists, so you can log in by providing username and password. Sign in button to log in into the database, and we are selecting the any input file. We are getting the aggregate attributes of the file. This is file name, creator date and time, type of the file, size of the file, and location of the file. And we are storing the details into a database. So next, key generation, and we are generating the master key and public key of the file. So we are just generating the master key and saving the master key into a database. And view button used to view the saved master key and creator date and time. And here we are generating the public key and we are saving the public key and saved successfully, and we can view the saved public key here and creator time, date and time of the public key. And next, aggregate key generation. First, we just reading the input file, just already loaded, and we are generating the key, aggregate key, that is public key, and the index of the file. And based on this public key and index, we are generating the aggregate key. We are saving the aggregate key details into the database. And next, encryption part. For encryption part, we are just reading the original file and get the aggregate key. We are generated aggregate key will be displayed here. Unclick encrypt button to encrypt the message. And next, transfer encrypted data. We are just transfer the encrypted data into a server. For that, we have to execute the server. So just we are getting the IP address, system name of the server and IP address of the server and username, password. Click access button to access the cloud server and we are just selecting the received path for receiving the encrypted data. Server and we are starting the server to receive data and from here we have to load the encrypted file from the data owner path. Encrypted file, server file sending, receiving, saving file into a server side. File is transferred. And next we are transferring the data into a receiver, encrypted file into a receiver. For that we have to execute the receiver. So we are just debug, start new instance to execute the receiver. So the receiver should log in by providing username and password. So the receiver is new user, we just by providing username, first name, last name and gender, contact number and IP address will be hit automatically and email ID of the user, password of the user, security question, click register button to register into a database and click home button to log into the panel and we are providing registered email ID and password here. Click sign in button to sign in into a panel and here we are just selecting the received path for receiving the encrypted file. So we are selecting the path as receiver and just starting the server to receive the file. From here we have to load the encrypted file to receiver. Encrypted file, just sending the encrypted file. File is transferred and we can close the server side now. And from this we are just receiving the aggregate key from the data owner. For that, how to select the received path. So I'm just selecting the received path for receiving the key from the receiver. I'm starting the server. I'm loading the aggregate key which is generated based on index and public key. And just next part is decryption. So finally we can decrypt the original file based on aggregate key which is sent by the data owner and aggregate key generated based on the file index and public key which is generated by the data owner. So we just reading the encrypted file which is sent by server. So load the encrypted file and we are getting the aggregate key which is received by the data owner and encrypted message sent by server and aggregate key sent by data owner. Based on aggregate key, the encrypted message will be decrypting. Decrypted is done based on symmetric encryption algorithm. So I'm just decrypting. File decrypted successfully and decrypted message will be saved as text file. So we can view the saved files from here. So decrypted message will be written as a text file. process.